Hey there everybody, just doing a review for this REDODO 12.8 volt 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate deep cycle battery. So yeah, I mean this is pretty similar to that Ampere Time 100 amp hour deep cycle battery that I did do a review for, but you know what, I mean, like once you've seen one of these type of batteries, you already know what you're getting. However, I mean, it's still good to do some testing on these type of batteries to make sure that they're all on the same wavelength. And also it's good to have competition in any market really. So, the consumers win, we get like cheaper product prices, competition increases, we get better products in general. And so yeah, I mean, looking at this battery, 12.8 volts, 100 amp hours, you just multiply the volts times the amp hours, and you're going to end up with 1280 watt hours of capacity. This is a lithium iron phosphate battery. That should be the standard at this point. If you're looking for a deep cycle battery, a lithium iron phosphate battery is going to last you about 4,000 charge cycles. That's gonna last you many years. I mean, even if you're using this battery for a long time, or even if you're heavily using this battery. And yeah, just taking a look at the overall presentation of this battery, it is different than most deep cycle batteries, because of that, like of those popping colors. I like how the battery looks. Honestly, like this, as strange as it sounds, I know it's just a battery, but most batteries are just like monotone, like just dark colors. They don't look. They just look boring. I like the white. I like the these. I like how these colors pop. The green, blue, yellow, and red. I think it's more of an orange. But anyways, yeah, just taking a look at the battery itself. Just looking around right over here. As you can see, 1280 watt hours. Just tells you deep cycle lithium iron phosphate. Tells you about the protections, and yeah, and also the name for the battery brand, REDODO. I'm not sure why it's called that. Some other YouTubers have mentioned that it's pronounced Red Auto. Maybe it might have something to do with a feline, like a cat. It has a cat on the box right over there. That is the box that the battery comes in. And also, if you look at the this paper right over here that comes with the battery, it also has a cat as a mascot. So I was trying to look at any connection, but I couldn't find any. But I'm going to be calling it REDODO in this battery review. Some other YouTubers are calling it REDODO. That's fine. It's whatever. Honestly, it's going to be the same product. What the product is capable of and not capable of is what we care most about. But yeah, I mean, there we have it right there. Included in the box with the battery, as I mentioned, is the product manual. Very useful manual. You're definitely gonna want to look through this before you start using the battery. Or I mean, you're gonna want to reference this. And also, this is another piece of paper with useful information, which includes a long-term storage recommendations and operation guide for beginners like me. And just taking a look at this side of the paper, this tells you tons of information that's going to be useful when it comes to using a deep cycle battery like this. And also included in the box is 4 post bolts. I already put 2 of the post bolts on, but you also get another extra 2 right over here, and you also get these 2 covers that you can place on the battery when you're using it or when you're not using it. And yeah, there we go. When it comes to the size of this REDODO battery, it is very similar to the size of the Ampere Time battery that I did do a review for. Just looking at the manual real quick just to reference the size. Yeah, so as you can see right there. So yeah, it does have a 13 by 6.7 by 8.4 inch form factor, and it weighs 25 pounds. So I mean, yeah, once again, deep cycle battery. It's going to be heavy. Is it large? Not exactly, but it is heavy. Is it heavy? Oh yeah, it is. It's pretty heavy. 25 pounds. You're definitely going to want to use 2 hands. Oh, also I forgot, it does have a handle right over here that I to take off. Yeah, the handle does come off really easily. I took it off because I was doing capacity testing. I had the load tester on the battery right over here. But yeah, the handle just goes on. It just slips onto these ends right over here. It's easy to put on, easy to take off if you need it. And yeah, I mean, with that said, let me get to testing it out because I already did a capacity test for this REDODO battery in one of my previous videos. You can go and check on that on my channel. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to the capacity test, I already did that. But we're just going to jump straight into using the battery with a 2000 watt Renogy inverter. And the battery is fully recharged right now. So I'm going to like grab a Lasco heater, and we're probably going to drain it using the Renogy inverter. I'm going to just push it to its limits like I did in my last deep cycle battery review to see what this REDODO battery is capable of. And yeah, let's get to testing it out. And also, I forgot to mention that this REDODO battery can output 1280 watts and input 1280 watts for when you're recharging the unit. And yeah, with that said, I forgot to mention that small bit of information. And yeah, with that said, let's get to testing it out. Alright, you guys, so I have the Renogy 2000 watt inverter connected to the REDODO 100 amp hour battery. As you can see, I got the positive and negative terminal cables connected to the battery right there, and the Renogy inverter is powered on. I've also got this electricity monitor to tell us what's going on with the inverter and the battery, and also the heater. I've also got the Lasco heater connected to the inverter. What I'm going to start out with is turning the heater to low first, then we're going to move on to high. But yeah, let's just see if it's able to handle the low setting first, and then we'll move on to high. And yeah, with this test, basically we're just trying to push the REDODO battery to its limit to see what happens when we run it, when we run the heater at high for a long duration, to see if the battery automatically turns off because the temperature becomes too much, or like, you know, if the output becomes too much. Because remember, the max output of this REDODO battery is 1280 watts. And so yeah, let's just take a look at the electricity monitor to see what's happening. And so yeah, at the low setting for the Lasco heater, we're currently at 860 watts. And just feeling how the heater feels. Yep, it's working like it's supposed to. And also, I want to mention is that I have the kilowatt hour meter reset. So yeah, this is accurate. Oh no. Okay, whoa. Let me start a timer. Oh god. Let me start a stopwatch. My bad. Okay, I guess we can just add like a minute to this timer right there, because I did have it running for a while before I started this timer. But anyways, let me set the heater to high now. There we go, and yeah, we're at about 1400 watts with the Lasco heater at high, and this is well above the capabilities of the REDODO battery, which should continuously output 1280 watts. So this is pushing it way beyond its limit. And yeah, with that said, I'm gonna leave it at high for as long as I can. I have the timer running, and we're just gonna come back periodically to see how the heater is doing, how the battery is doing, and how the inverter is running. And yeah, and basically we're in this test, we're going to be draining the battery. We'll be right back and give you an update. Alright, guys, so an update after about 11 minutes and 25 seconds. The heater is still going strong at 1400 watts, as you can see right there. Still hasn't lit up yet. We've currently used 280 watt hours from the battery. And so yeah, just to note, the REDODO battery does have a 1280 watt hour capacity. We've used 280 watt hours so far. And yeah, that's just a mid-test update, and we'll be right back. Alright, you guys, so after about 20 minutes and 30 seconds, we've got a 480 watt hour output from the REDODO battery, and we're still going strong with the heater at high. As you can see, 1400 watts still going even after 20 minutes. I'm just gonna keep it running, but yeah, this is just a mid-test update, and we'll be right back. Alright, you guys, so after about 33 minutes, we still got the heater running at high somehow. I don't know, but it's still chugging along. 1400 watts still being outputted. 780 watt hours used from the REDODO battery. And I'm out of breath because I have to take my cats outside. I forgot that it turns nighttime a lot earlier now due to the daylight savings time. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna come back, do another update, and we're currently at 33 minutes, which is really incredible. But yeah, be right back. Alright, you guys, so after about 47 minutes and 21 seconds, the inverter did start beeping to indicate that the battery capacity was fully depleted from the REDODO battery. You know, it was just really to show that the inverter wasn't receiving enough voltage, probably. And so yeah, then I had to like manually turn off the inverter and just I unplugged the heater. And so what ended up happening is that I was able to pull 1100 watt hours from this REDODO battery while powering the heater through this inverter. And so yeah, 1100 watt hours, divided by the 1280 watt hours from the REDODO battery, that's an 86% efficiency rating, coming from the inverter. That's really good. That's actually better than most power stations. And also, just a reminder that this REDODO battery is capable of outputting 1280 watts continuously, and we were able to pull out 1400 watts continuously for 47 minutes. And that's another impressive part. And just taking a feel of the battery itself, it does feel a bit warm, and that's about it. There was like no, the over temperature control didn't kick in. It was more of the battery capacity being fully depleted, and it just feels warm right now. I think that just goes to show that this battery has pretty good temperature control probably. And I think it did last a bit longer than the ampere time battery, so that's good also. And so yeah, I mean, with that said, I'm gonna recharge the battery. I'm gonna show you guys the recharging for the REDODO battery. Just get it charged up, and then I'm gonna power probably 2 more appliances. And yeah, let's just get to that. This was a pretty cool test. So this battery was able to pull an 86% efficiency rating through an inverter at 1400 watts, and it was able to run 1400 watts continuously for nearly an hour. We were really close to an hour. So if you're powering anything under that 1280 watts from the battery, I was going to handle it with no problems at all. You're probably going to get a few hours. I mean, not a few hours, but like it depends on what the wattage of the appliance that you're powering. But I mean, that was a good test. I liked it. The REDODO battery performed really well. And yeah, let me just show you guys the charging for the battery. All right, you guys. So for recharging this REDODO battery, you can use any, I think, 14.6 volt battery charger. In this case, this is a ampere time 14.6 volt 10 amp battery charger, which is like 146 watts of input power for this battery. But you can use any like 20 amp, 30 amp, 40 amp battery charger to recharge it at a faster speed. 146 watts of recharging power for a 1280 watt hour battery is kind of slow. Going from 0 to 100, you're going to be waiting about 10 to 12 hours for a full recharge. That's pretty slow, but you can go with a higher amperage battery chargers for a faster recharging speed. But however, just a side note, faster battery chargers are more expensive. And just taking a look at these clamps. So yeah, they just go. Oh, I think I'm supposed to connect the positive first. Is that right? Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna connect the positive right there, and all right, and the clamps just negative to negative right there. And yeah, this battery charger, I did use it when I reviewed the ampere time 100 amp hour battery, which is really similar to this REDODO one, and it works exactly the same way. So when the battery charger is not connected, this light over here turns green, but when the battery charger is charging up the battery, the light turns red, so to indicate that charging is happening. So I am charging the battery right now, and just taking a look over here at this electricity monitor. We've currently got a 148 watt output going on to recharge the battery. And so yeah, there we go. Once the battery is fully recharged, this light will turn green while the clamps are still connected to the battery to indicate that it's fully recharged. And so yeah, there we go. That is how you recharge this REDODO battery. You don't have to go with a REDODO's own battery chargers. You can if you want to. They sell it on their website, and I think over on Amazon. If I find it, I'll place a link down in the description below. But yeah, any 14.6 volt deep cycle battery charger will work for this REDODO battery. That's another thing about deep cycle batteries. That flexibility with recharging them and using them with nearly any inverter is great. And so yeah, that's the recharging. Alright, you guys, so just back with the REDODO battery, and so after recharging it, after that LASCO heater test, which fully depleted the capacity of the battery, and so I'm going to be using this electric cooktop right over here. Going to try to boil 4 cups of water. This is a test that I've used many times in my reviews for other products, and it's just something I do, honestly. Just boiling some water, see if the battery can handle it. I think I don't think it's gonna have any problems. I think this is gonna be a pretty smooth sailing test, honestly. And so let me just hit this off right over here. Set it to high real quick. Okay, let me start this timer. All right, and so yeah, the battery is back at full power, and I did reset the kilowatt hour meter on this electricity monitor, and I'm just gonna come back once the water does start boiling um, in the saucepan, and so yeah, we'll be right back to see how much capacity we can use, and also just taking a look real quick at the wattage usage of the electric cooktop. It's 966 watts. No problem for the battery or the inverter to handle, because the battery is able to output 1280 watts of power. And yeah, we'll be right back once the water starts boiling and to see how much capacity we used up. All right, you guys. So after about 7 minutes and 30 seconds, it looks like the water is right on the cusp of boiling. And just taking a look at the electricity monitor right over here. Looks like we used about 120 watt hours from the REDODO battery. Not a lot of capacity usage right there, even after 7 minutes. And just taking a look at the water. Yep, looks like it's beginning to boil. And yeah, just a general test for boiling water using a deep cycle battery along with the inverter. I've done this test many times before at this point. If you've seen my other videos, you're probably bored of seeing this type of test, but it's just something I do just to make sure that whatever product I'm testing out, it works, because this is a high wattage appliance. And yeah, just jumped to 130 watt hours. It's gonna jump in watt hours pretty pretty quickly because this is a high wattage appliance. And yeah, with that done, let me just go ahead and grab one more appliance to test out with the REDODO battery. All right, you guys. So just back with the toaster oven. I'm gonna try to power it using the battery and the inverter. I think this toaster oven does have a max output of like 1200 watts, so it's gonna be perfect for like a high wattage appliance. And so let me just go ahead and set it to probably like 450 or something like that, and probably put a 10-minute timer over here. Yeah, rotate past okay, there we go. And so yeah, I mean, just looking at the output going on right here, we got a 1200, well, about a 1200 watt output, 1170 watts. It is just going anywhere it wants to right now. And I did reset the kilowatt hour meter right over here. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let it run until it reaches 0 on the timer to see how many watt hours we're able to use. Then we'll be right back once the toaster oven turns off. All right, everybody. So the toaster oven did turn off after about 10 minutes. I'm pretty sure I did have it at a 10-minute timer. I had it set to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, 235 degrees Celsius. And so what I ended up with was 120 watt hours from the REDODO battery. That's about 9% of the battery by having the toaster oven set to 450 degrees for 10 minutes. We had a 1200 watt output going on from this toaster oven. Still no problem for the REDODO battery, considering that it's capable of 1280 watts. And yeah, there we go. That's a toaster oven test right there. Also, I recommend staying within that 1280 watt range. Don't do what I did with that Lasco heater test. Having the Lasco heater at like 1400 watts for like 48 minutes, I think. The battery handled it with no problems, but I think that might like deplete the life cycle of the battery, even though it did handle it like a champ. But yeah, that's a toaster oven test right there. You're gonna be able to toast some food in the toaster oven using a REDODO battery and a high wattage enough inverter. I recommend not. You don't have to go with this Renogy inverter. This Renogy inverter is a bit of a overkill in this case. I do recommend using a pure sine wave inverter. However, just make sure that your appliances don't get damaged and that they work how they're supposed to. But a 2000 watt inverter isn't necessary with this REDODO battery. You can go with like a 1500 watt one or a 1200 watt inverter. Just make sure that's pure sine wave. That's what I recommend, and that's what most I'm pretty sure like other YouTubers and like other people that use these type of products also recommend is a pure sine wave. And yeah, there's the toaster oven test. All right, you guys, so just taking a look at the price for this REDODO 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery over on Amazon, it is $300, and this is one of the cheaper 100 amp hour deep cycle batteries. And yeah, when you consider like a power station that comes at 1280 watt hours, you're gonna be spending about like $1,000 or possibly more. But you know, getting a deep cycle battery like this REDODO one, adding on maybe a 1000 watt inverter and a 10 amp battery charger, you're gonna be spending quite a lot less than a power station. However, you know, with power stations, you do have everything put together, ready to go. And you know, there's no real assembly required at all. But yeah, I mean, a deep cycle battery like this REDODO one, it is at a more affordable price than some other competitors in the space. And yeah, and there we go. That's just really what I wanted to show right here. And also, one thing I noticed over on the Amazon page is that they have a newer model for this battery. This came as a surprise as well. It doesn't look like it has any reviews. I don't think it does, but this was pretty cool to see. It's a newer battery. It has low temperature cutoff, and it has controls as well. It has a button where you can set up SOC indicator, on off sleep mode, low temperature forced charging, battery activation. So yeah, low high temperature charge protection. So yeah, this was pretty cool to see. I mean, I'm not giving my opinion on this. I don't know like what exactly it's all about, but there is a newer model for this 100 amp hour battery. But yeah, just taking a look, yep, it was 300 for this one. The other one, the upgraded version, is 500, but it had a coupon on it. But yeah, anyways, there we go. That is review for the REDODO 12.8 volt 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate deep cycle battery. Did I like this battery? Yeah, it performed well. Performed through all my testing. The battery capacity test. Oh, I forgot to mention the battery capacity test. At the time of making this video, I did do the battery capacity test already. I will leave a link down in the description below. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I did do the capacity test. I probably will edit this video to make sure that I mention that at the beginning of this review as well, just so you guys know that I did do a battery capacity test. I know this full review didn't feature it. I didn't think that it would make sense to feature the clip of the battery capacity test in this review video when I already have a completely separate video on it. But yeah, there we go. I will leave a link to the product page for this REDODO battery down in the description, as well as a link to the review article from chargerharbor.com. And I will see you all on the next review. All right, goodbye.